Podcasting from Woodstock, Georgia, welcome to Soul Solutions, a show where we overcome our fears and our limiting beliefs. I'm your host, author, and certified life coach, Terry Kozlowski. Hello, warriors. Do you know how to set personal boundaries with others so they don't take advantage of you? Can you see how setting these limits with others is an act of self-care for yourself? If you need help, you can take my course, The Guide to Setting Personal Boundaries, on mastermind.com. The link is in the show notes. You can choose to have less drama in your life. Now let's start this week's episode. Episode 80. Have faith in yourself and feel more than enough, just as you are. Do you believe you are more than enough, just as you are? Most people struggle with the sense they are sufficient, just as they are. Somewhere in the past, someone made them feel inferior about something. Then the ego took this notion of being lesser and told you to hide who you authentically are so you would be accepted. So you put on masks, armor, and labels from others so your ego would feel safe and recognized. Your faith in yourself to be who you authentically are is what it means to feel you are more than enough. This sense of sufficiency doesn't mean you're being compared or judged to get to the label good enough. It doesn't mean you've worked ample hours, adequately tried, or presented well. There is nothing more you have to do, be, or buy to be adequate, because who you are is more than enough. Being more than enough doesn't mean you weren't supposed to grow and expand. It doesn't mean you're flawless and don't need to learn. Nor does it mean you have to be self-sufficient or that you don't need to make authentic connections to support you. So what does it mean to know you're more than enough? Understanding your authentic self. When you appreciate your authenticity, you recognize your place in the universe. You see your smallness and yet know your grandeur. Because you recognize your strengths and weaknesses, it is easier to ask for help. Yet you realize your struggles aren't reflections of your worthiness because you already know you're more than enough. When you take a misstep, you acknowledge your need to grow in this specific area. Not that this flaw is the most important thing about you. You recognize it and take responsibility for your growth you're about to take on. Perfectionism is a way your ego hides your authenticity. So being more than enough isn't about being perfect. It's just being your authentic self on purpose. There's only one you, and that unique individual is needed on this planet right now, just as you are. No one else can be perfectly you, but you. So why hide under masks, armor, and labels your ego feels others want you to wear? The universe didn't err in creating you for this time in history. You're meant to be here now with your gifts and talents. Do your part in this world. As long as you are authentic, you are more than enough, because that is how you were created. You're not trying to prove yourself to anyone. You are worthy, valid, acceptable, and loved. Enough, just as you are. Accepting you're more than enough. From the day you were born until this moment, there's only been one of you, and no one else can take your place in this world. Therefore, who you genuinely are is who you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to pretend to be someone you're not, or are you to wear masks and armor the ego says you need. You're to be your authentic self every moment of each day. If everyone believed this concept, it would be life-changing. But instead, you accept the lies the ego screaming in your head, which states, if you're authentically yourself, no one will love you. So be yourself because you're more than enough, even with your flaws exposed. When you accept yourself, many things happen. You become empowered because you recognize your path differs from other people's, so you no longer need to compare yourself. You become free when you believe in yourself because you realize your missteps are part of your journey. Finally, you become happy when you are compassionate with yourself and know that your happiness comes from within yourself. You can build the life you dream of having because you defined what enough is for you. Why? Because you are setting your own standards based on your desires, gifts, and talents you want to share with the world, because only you can do so. Letting go of the egoic lies. When you accept you are more than enough, just as you are, your self-awareness and self-compassion shine through. You see the ego's lies with clarity and can reframe the stories you tell yourself. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you can build the joyful and purposeful life you are to live. To help you release the egoic lies, you must forgive yourself for the self-judgment and comparisons you use to harm yourself. You need to recognize the new beginnings the universe gives you each day and be excited about the endless possibilities before you. The roles and responsibilities you have don't determine your value, which is what your ego has been telling you. This verbiage, of course, is a lie. But don't forget this vital fact. You are the sum of your differing parts. So don't narrow your focus on what milestones you achieve, cross off your to-do list, or the missteps you take. Let's look at something obvious. When you look at a newborn lying in your arms asleep, are you thinking about all the things this infant isn't accomplishing today? Of course not. The baby is more than enough, just as it is. The child just being is sufficient as it is. And so are you. Let go of the ego's lies about your inadequacies and others. Everyone is more than enough, just as they are. Others who question your worthiness. When others comment to you about your missteps or you feel rejected, remember most likely these people aren't able to believe in themselves and question their own worthiness. Authentic people accept themselves, and those hiding their authenticity point fingers at others so they don't have to look at themselves. So be wary of those unsupportive people in your life, the naysayers. These negative Nellies aren't willing to help you or purposely point out missteps to discourage you. Of course, your best will not be good enough for some, but those aren't the people that matter in your life, are they? Your tribe, however, will be the ones to remind you of the victories you've already had. They will encourage and often tell you of your value to them. All this inspiration from your tribe is to help give you perspective, to reaffirm your belief in yourself. What others think of you is not important. Only you can envision the life you want. No one else can do that but you. Their judgments, comparisons, opinions, disbelief, or fears do nothing to move your dream forward. However, by living your authentic life, you advanced your vision for the future. Moving forward knowing you're more than enough. Your ego is insatiable. It will always want more of everything because it's trying to conform to what it thinks society wants. More power, more love, more approval, more money, and more success, because more is better for the ego. And because of this false pursuit, it thinks you can't be enough. Everyone on the planet was born being enough, just like that baby. Nothing you can say or do can take away from who you authentically are. Your soul radiates a distinctive light, a beauty unique to your gifts and talents. If a newborn is enough, just as it is, so are you. So accept your authentic self is worthy just as it is and is more than enough. Allow your inner beauty to shine. Be a true believer in your dreams. Realize your limitless potential. Encourage and love yourself. Never doubt who you authentically are. Each day, show up authentically and do your best. That's all any of us can do, and it's more than enough. As you become more mindful of your worthiness, you can alter the trajectory of your life. Do you need help to realize you're more than enough? Do you need support in accepting your authentic self? If you want a strategy to help you create an extraordinary life, if so, please get in touch with me and we can put together an action plan for you to be authentically you and know your value. You are more than enough, just as you are. If you want to hear how I learned I was more than enough, just as I am, you can do so by reading my memoir, Raven Transcending Fear, available on Amazon. Go to raventranscendingfear.com for more information. Thanks for listening to Soul Solutions with Terry Kozlowski. If you'd like the show and want to learn more, check out terrykozlowski.com, where you can find the links to everything we talked about in this episode. Please subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode as we overcome our fears and our limiting beliefs.